Warning! The anime egotists have opinions about stuff and other stuff. Please understand this while watching the video and know that no opinion is a fact, not even yours. So please enjoy the video. Or don't.
This is the Hidden Leaf Village's handsome devil, Rock Lee, and you're watching Anime Egotists. After this, you can do 51 sit-ups or watch all 51 episodes of Rock Lee and his ninja pals. Rock Lee. Leaf Hurricane!
And welcome back to the Anime Egotists, where if we were on Pokemon journeys, it would not be rated PG. Anyways, you got me, Foster, and I don't think I would do that well in contest battles.
And I'm Williamson. I probably wouldn't do that well either.
That's right, and together we are the Anime Egotists, the stop and shop place for all things anime, despite the fact that we don't talk that much variety. Yet. But one of the things we love to talk about is Pokemon. Duh. And the Pokemon anime has had some fantastic battles.
Yeah, I mean, they're such an integral part to this series. I don't think there hasn't been an episode that I can remember that doesn't have some sort of Pokemon battle in it.
Yeah, maybe a couple in Journeys, but that's, I don't know. But the point stands. There are a lot of battles in Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
But sadly, we're not here to talk about that this week. For every amazing, awesome, maybe even just decent battle, there are several battles that just are, well, how would you put it?
Subpar, have stupid endings, just break the rules of everything that's been established beforehand.
Yeah. These battles are not ones you would want to tell your mom that you won. Your mother would look at you with shame for this. Even if you won the gym badge or the contest ribbon or something like that, she would just be like, that's how you won it? Really? See, this is why your dad left. Anyway, in the world of Pokemon, I'm not advocating that in real life, but these are basically the battles we feel, well, just aren't very good. Granted, just a heads up, there are a lot of Ash Ketchum battles on our list. Granted, I tried to mix it up a little bit. I feel like, didn't you tell me your list was all Ash Ketchum battles?
Yes.
Oh, gee. Goodness gracious. Look,
well, he deserves it, so.
To be fair, he's in like 90% of the battles, so it was kind of tough to find otherwise. But speaking of people who aren't hard to find, I was going to say we have 2 new subscribers for this video, but we actually have 3 new subscribers for this video, and I want to give them all their proper love. Shalamander, who I think is somebody I know. I think that this is actually somebody I know, so I just want to say thank you very much for the love. Thank you for all the support, the love, and if this is the person I think it is, please speak up and say something, because otherwise this is just weird.
Yes, welcome. We're happy that you chose our content when there's plenty of other better options, probably.
Yeah, totally. Anyways, and we have another one today, Natsu Uchiha. Is this Natsu from Fairy Tail, but he's an Uchiha? Is that who this is?
I'm guessing so. Welcome. We're happy you decided to subscribe to us.
Please don't hit us with the Tsukiyomi, or do, either way. It'd be interesting. And lastly, the man of constant sorrow, Elias, which I gotta tell you, if you're looking for our content to make you less sad, that's not how we work here. Our content's pretty upsetting, mortifying, degradable. But thank you for your support. I think I know this person too, but yes, thank you.
All right, yes, welcome all of you. We're really appreciative for any support you give us.
That's right. So let's get into worst Pokemon battles. Do you want to start? Because we talked about the most obvious one a little before we started recording.
Yeah, I guess I'll go ahead and start with the one I think you're talking about, and that's Ash versus Tate and Liza in Gen 3.
I literally just rewatched this about 10 minutes before we started recording. It's so much worse than I remember.
All I have to say about this is Thunder Armor.
That's all, because I actually do have some actual reasonable points.
The fact that this is created, God, just everything is wrong with this. This battle should have ended with Ash's Pikachu falling out of the air as a Swellow falls to the ground, knocked out because Pikachu used Thunderbolt on it, and that should just be the end of this battle.
Worst part is that that might have made more sense. But I do have actual points because first of all, it starts showing that Tate and Liza, despite being siblings, might not be the best at teamwork, which they had an episode prior where they were kind of bickering beforehand. So I would have liked if they had acknowledged that or fixed that in some way. Like, hey, we bicker off the field, but on the field, we're actually competitive. So that gave Ash a little more leeway. And I've said before, I don't like the fact that Team Rocket has to be in every single episode. I love them, I do. But interfering with gym battles, just, I don't know, it feels like their presence wasn't needed, and they destroyed the rooftop and everything. The battle got stopped. They had saved Solrock and Lunatone. And at the end, and with like 4 minutes left, they're like, hey, let's just restart the battle. I'm just like, we couldn't have gone one episode. Just no Team Rocket, just let the battle go through. But once again, yes, worst of all, Thunder Armor, like you said, no sense. It's not even like he practiced it or anything. It's just like, oh, Thunder Armor. And they never even used it again, if I recall correctly.
They don't, and I'm guessing it's because it makes no sense, because as I said, it should have knocked Swellow out of the air, and Pikachu pretty much should have fallen to its death at that point.
Yeah, like I could understand if it was Donphan or something like that, because it's at least a ground type, so it wouldn't be hurt by the electricity, but whatever. Tate and Liza, I'm sorry, y'all deserved better. Y'all deserve so much better.
Yep.
Alright, so I'm up.
Go right ahead.
Alright, I'm going to start off with Ash versus Brock. Which battle from their gym battle? Well, both of them. Both of them. Look, I'm not going to get into a whole spiel about how different the games were from the anime in terms of battle mechanics. I'm not trying not to do that too much. But the fact that, first of all, Pikachu gets crushed relatively easily in their first battle. And then the second battle, how at first Brock's dad, even though we don't know who that is at first, he offers to help Pikachu and like give it more power, which seems weird. You want someone to help beat your son or something like that. First, Ash sends out Pidgeotto, which, dude, come on. The fact that not even type advantage not even mattering. The fact that he has Pidgeotto basically up close to Geodude and not, flying in the air to gain some altitude or different angles of attack, something like that. No, just get up close and just scratch at it a little bit. And all of a sudden, Pikachu basically one-shotting Geodude. And what everybody knows, the sprinklers turn on. Why are there sprinklers in a rock gym?
Fire Pokemon, but still.
Yeah, but they're rock Pokemon, rock or whatever. And all of a sudden, when it starts raining and Onix's grip weakens on Pikachu, who Ash just like, use Thunderbolt. I'm like, wait, you're going to attack this man after he showed you mercy like 2 or 3 times? Ash, you're awful. And he gives up, and of course, later he gets the badge. But sadly, that's not the that's not the last time Ash gets a badge he didn't deserve. It's not a good first gym battle. I wasn't expecting anything epic, but still.
Yeah, this was an honorable mention for me, and specifically the second one, because you also have to remember that Ash was about to actually win the battle, even though, as you said, he's attacking after setting off the sprinkler system, and Brock's siblings all pretty much attack Ash and prevent him from doing anything, even though none of them are covering his mouth, so he could still order the attack.
Yeah, although I guess in a way they were kind of protected. I don't remember specifically why they were trying to protect him, if they just didn't want Brock to lose, or if it was just a case of, hey, this isn't fair, you're cheating, which would have been a perfectly excusable thing to do, but it's not a good battle for anybody. Nobody looks good in this battle, and that's the worst type of battle, when nobody ends up looking good.
Yeah, but I can agree. It doesn't make either look good, and it makes me wonder if originally Pokemon were supposed to have like, oh, if you take your electric Pokemon to a power plant and then do this for like 5 hours, you'll double its power or something for like one
Yeah,
battle.
yeah. Also to people who aren't that good of big of Pokemon fans, that's fine. But just one thing: electric Pokemon versus rock Pokemon. There's stop acting like rock Pokemon are strong against electric. It's ground. That's always bothered me that people keep saying that. Anyways, your next battle.
Mhm. So I'm gonna go actually one episode before these
Oh god
episodes,
damn it! Oh Shiva, damn it!
and that's Ash versus the Samurai, which is the Metapod versus Metapod fight.
So you put that as the it's so bad it's good. It's so good it's bad. Like I said with the One Piece rap, right?
Yeah, that's just the fact that for like the first 5 minutes of this episode, it's both trainers have Metapod out, harden, and then I think Beedrill attacks because for some reason,
Yeah.
and it ends the battle, and then again it ends up with Butterfree evolving out of Metapod, but still, the whole point of this battle is that they're just idiots.
Yeah, the worst part is Caterpie knew. Remember, Caterpie knew tackle and string shot, and then evolved. So you could say that why didn't Metapod just use any of those? But it just said no, just don't. No, don't bother. I will say this isn't a good battle, but it does work in a comedic light.
It does, but it's just so stupid, especially because if I remember correctly, one or both of them shout maximum hardening.
Yep. Yep. Worst part, like I remember Pallet Town Champions did the abridged version of this. It's like, and Ash is like Metapod use maximum heart, and the Samurai's like that's not even an attack. He's like shut up. And then about 10 seconds later, it's like don't worry Metapod, just 34 more times until you can use struggle. I'm like I can't sit through this. This is terrible. But like I said, it does work for a laugh, so I'm forgiving of it.
I am too, but it does take I think like the first 5 minutes of the episode.
Yeah,
So
it's way too long though. Anyways, my next one.
go right ahead.
Oh boy, oh boy. Ash and May versus Oscar and Andy. Do you remember Oscar and Andy?
Not really.
Okay, so they're basically characters of the day. No shit, but characters of the day. Pokemon, really?
Mm-hmm.
So how do I even begin this episode? So the beginning of the episode, Ash, Brock, and Max are about to leave. They're like, okay, let's go to the next town for the gym or whatever we're doing. And all of a sudden, Pikachu's like, stop. You guys are forgetting about May. And through some shenanigans, Ash and May like start bickering with each other the whole episode, which is like I wish it's not a very good episode. I'm just gonna come out and say it's not a very good episode. It's not very entertaining or anything like that. But Oscar and Andy show up, and they're the lovey-dovey couple in the Pokemon games, the ones who are all over each other. Okay, so it's slowly coming back to you.
Yeah, I have a vague recollection of this episode now.
And all of a sudden they show up and they're just like, oh, you two are fighting. You must be in love. And Ash and May are like, what? No, that's not. It's just like, oh, well, let's have a battle then. I'm like, those two sentences don't go together. Whatever. And all of a sudden, Ash sends out Corphish and May sends out Skitty. And the only thing May does is she just keeps telling Skitty, use assist, which for those of you who don't know as well, it's basically any random move on your Pokemon's team. That's what it does, right?
Yeah, I think it'll copy a move from one of your Pokemon in your party. I don't remember if it can't be fainted or not. It's very rarely used.
Okay, but anyways, this is a random move. Why? And the first part is May keeps getting frustrated. She's like, wait a minute, what's going on? And Max, as much as I hate him, he correctly points out, you can't get upset about this. They're random attacks. Why don't you just use Blizzard or whatever the heck else you can use? But like it's 90% of what she uses. She may use like one other move once during the battle, and since her and Ash are bickering, of course, they end up losing to these nobodies who we see like once once again, because they faced Jesse and James in a not as bad battle, but still not a very good battle. Overall, I didn't like this battle. It made May look really, really bad.
Yeah, I only vaguely remember the couple part of it. I don't even remember the battle, so
Yeah, I just
I'll have to take
rewatched
your
it the
word
other.
for it.
I just rewatched it the other day. Like I said, the whole episode isn't very good, except if you think about it. Veronica Taylor's just yelling at herself for 30 minutes.
Okay, that would be pretty entertaining.
I hope so. I hope there was like a doctor or a therapist on set because that can't be healthy. That cannot be healthy. Maybe I'll ask her.
All right, so my next one, I'm sticking with. Looking back at my list now, I have a surprising amount of Gen 1 on here.
Oh dear.
Because my next one is Ash and Pikachu versus Cassandra and her Paris.
Oh, this is one of my dad's favorite episodes.
The fact that they have a Pokemon that is so weak that it's not even Pikachu doesn't even use a move. It just does like a little tiny like static shock. If that was a move, it's not even like a full powered thunder shock. It's not spark. It's nothing like that. And he manages to win against this Paris, and it just. And I know that they're trying to make it stronger, but God, at that point, it's like, what do you do?
Had rare candies been invented at this point?
I mean, they were in the games, but we hadn't never heard of them in the anime yet.
Yeah, this would have been perfect for that. Give it like 10 or 12 rare candies, we would have been set. But here's the thing. I understand this, but I can't hate this episode. This is one of Team Rocket's. It was one of the earliest episodes that Team Rocket showed that they weren't completely bad guys. Like, they actually did want to help people in Pokemon. And it's just fun. It's just funny to watch, especially considering Paris evolves and ends up beating Charmeleon somehow.
Yeah, that's... I enjoy the episode from what I remember. It's just this fight makes other parts of the episode not make sense, because it's like, okay, it couldn't beat against Pikachu, which it has a resistance to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it should be resistant, yes.
So that doesn't help, and then it's so weak that it's like, okay, but now it evolves, and now it could beat something it's supposed to be weak against. So the episode itself doesn't make sense. It's a good episode, but the battles don't make sense.
Now I think about it didn't even beat Charmeleon. It just used sleep powder, and it just didn't bother waking. Like, Ash is just like, oh, well, I guess our work here is done. Return. Also, fun fact, it was one of the first episodes because when they introduced the thing of Charmeleon doesn't listen to Ash, because the old woman who was the trainer's grandmother was like, oh, well,
You're not a good trainer.
Bad trainer. I don't remember specifically what she said, but she's like, in all seriousness, it's more along the lines of you're not disciplined enough for this Pokemon, or something along those lines.
And it still, to this day, it doesn't always seem to listen to Ash. It sets him on fire whenever he sees it.
I mean, I would too, and I don't even have the ability. I only have the power to set someone on fire, but I'd still do it.
Yeah, you do. Get a lighter and a can of hairspray. You can set anyone on fire.
Good lord. Anyways,
we may have to cut that because that could probably be really bad on YouTube.
I mean, as long as they specifically blame Williamson, my co-host, as long as they just blame you, we're okay with it. I can do this pod. I can rotate out our commenters with you. Until you get done with jail. It's fine.
Yeah. In all honesty, do not do that.
Please don't. Anyways, speaking of stuff you could, but in all honesty, I think I'd rather be set on fire than watch this next battle again. Ash versus Elisa, Gen 5, Black and White.
Okay, yes, I've seen parts of this one.
Okay, so we've acknowledged that Black and White Ash is not the best form. It's not the best Ash. He forgets stuff. He's clumsy. It just doesn't work. So all of a sudden, and we all know Ash he's not the biggest fan of strategy. Sure, he can come up with stuff every now and then, but it's normally just that, hey, I believe in my Pokemon. And that is a good way of thinking about it at times. But the thing is, he actually says he has a plan this time, and we're all like, "Oh, really? He has a plan? Okay, let's see what it is. What's up?" So he sends out his Palpitoad against an electric type gym leader. Now that's smart because Palpitoad is part ground, so it's
Mm-hmm.
resistant to electric type. Makes perfect sense. Good idea. He sends out Palpitoad first, which admittedly I'm not really sure if that's what I would have done, but it's not a completely stupid move. Far from it. All of a sudden, Palpitoad loses, and if I recall, it loses relatively, I don't want to say quickly, but faster than most people expected. And all of a sudden, Ash is like, sorry, go ahead.
When I was doing research for this, I saw this episode, and which for me is surprising since I don't like black and white. And it wins the first round from what I remember, and then like loses to Emolga or whatever it's called, the
Something
flying
along those,
the flying Pikachu clone.
something like that. And guess what? And after he loses, Ash is like, Wait, what? What? But I was planning on winning everything with you." And people are like, "You're serious?" And Ash runs out of the building to get another Pokemon. Which, why wouldn't you at least have your other Pokemon on your belt? Why are you? Worst part is the rest of the battle isn't all that bad. Like, it's decent, but that whole, I don't.
This summarizes Ash in the Black and White series.
Yes, which I understand. Which, look, if you want to make him dumb at times, fine. If you want to reset a Pokemon trainer, if you want to give us a dumb, stupid, not very experienced Pokemon trainer, that's fine. But stop making it Ash. If you're going to make him somebody experienced and stupid, give us somebody new. We've been over this so many. It's not a good battle.
That's my biggest problem with Black and White is that in Hoenn and Sinnoh, Ash, at least at the beginning, is mentors for May and Dawn.
Right. Oh, we'll get to them. They're on my list.
He's teaching them how to battle, how to catch Pokemon, and just what to do, kind of, even though they pursue a different main goal. But in the end, they just in this one he's no longer a mentor, and he kind of goes back to where he was at in the very beginnings of Kanto.
And the worst part is there's no explanation as to why this happened. There's no, like, he didn't hit his head or anything. There's no magic involved. Like, it just, we've been over the replace Ash Ketchum thing. I'm not going to get into it that much more, but this is not a good battle. It's not.
It's not.
It's frustrating. That's what it is. Anyways, your next one.
So I'm gonna also stay in Gen 5, and this is the very first battle from this series.
Oh, god damn it!
Which is Ash versus Trip.
Okay.
And I understand that they reset Pikachu. They do give a reason for Pikachu being reset. It's that Zekrom, I think, is that one.
Yeah.
Lowered Pikachu's power or whatever. It doesn't happen in the games, but the anime is different, so that's justifiable. But still, Ash is supposed to be an experienced trainer at this point. He's been in like the final 4 in Pokemon League Champions. Trip got his Pokemon that day.
Like about 5 minutes beforehand.
So Ash, even though he only has Pikachu, who has been kind of reset, should still be able to form a strategy and beat this kid. He doesn't.
Yeah.
And it's like... And this is the first point where I started giving up on Pokemon for my first time, I think.
You're just like, this isn't going well. I'm gonna go watch Digimon or whatever the young kids are watching.
I don't think I watched anything. I think it's just pretty much watched Naruto and Dragon Ball Z at that point, and that was it.
Oh yeah, we all know Naruto and Dragon Ball Z have never had bad fights. Not like we've ever done videos on those or anything, but
yeah, it's just it's a bad taste in the mouth of, I think, longer term fans.
Especially, I guess my thing is, Do you remember who initiated the battle? Did Trip challenge Ash or did Ash challenge Trip?
I think it. I don't remember who starts it. I think it happens because Trip hears Ash is from Pallet Town, which is the boonies, and he's a city boy or whatever.
That's such a problem. That's such a problematic character, but I'm so on board for it. Anyways, though, my thing is did Ash? Why would Ash accept this challenge? Let's hypothetically let's pretend that Trip is the one who challenged Ash. Why would Ash accept knowing Pikachu was all messed up? And on the reverse of that, why would Ash challenge him if Pikachu was all messed up? Because it's not like Ash takes any other Pokemon with him to different regions. He's just like, nope, everybody stay behind. It's cool. Let's just stay.
Yeah, it's really weird. Johto, he traveled with his team, but then abandoned them one at a time, versus he abandoned everybody else at the same time.
I mean, I like the reset and all, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense from a competitive standpoint. But I do understand what they're trying to do. But yeah, Ash versus Trip, I can co-sign on to that because apparently you just love dumping on Trip. You're horrible. Anyways, my next one.
Yes, go ahead.
Jessie or Jesselina or whatever alias she went under versus Harley.
Okay, which did they only fight once? I could have sworn they fought at least twice.
I think they only fought once, but I'll explain which one. So they both make it to the second round of the contest. Yes, no duh. And Harley sends out Ariados, probably one of my favorite bug or poison type Pokemon. One of my favorites. I really like it. And Jessie, or let's just call her Jessie for now. It's so much easier. Jessie sends out Wobbuffet, for a contest, that's not really the smartest move because you're supposed to be doing different types of combinations and stuff like that. But Jesse's line of thinking is, oh, anything he uses is I can just reflect it with Counter and Miracle. While Harley's thinking, I know what you're trying to do. I'm not going to fall for it. So for a good several seconds, they just sit there wondering, I'm not going to move. I'm not going to move. It's like that Family Feud clip when they say, name one of the seven dwarves that describes your wife in bed. And the guys are just like, nobody wants to answer her. And all of a sudden, the contest people are like, okay, you know what? You're both getting carded for this. And they lose like a good chunk of their points. And it's like, if you get carded again, guess what? You're both disqualified. I'm like, wait a minute, there's a card system for this? You actively have to do something? Where is this rule? Why are we just now discovering this rule?
It's all about showing off your Pokemon, so the fact that they're just sitting there is probably losing ratings for them, so...
I understand. Who's watching these battles, honestly? Anyways, so Harley decides, well, nobody said my attacks had to be offensive, so he's like, use String Shot. And he uses String Shot and basically makes Wobbuffet dance like a marionette. I understand that Jessie isn't the best coordinator, but she was relatively competent. This was first of all, the weird gag of, oh, we're just not going to do anything. It's kind of funny in a sense, but I don't know. It's so bizarre to watch at first that you're not even sure it's happening, but I don't know. I would have liked a more even battle, especially it'd be kind of cool if maybe Jessie did find a way for Wobbuffet to be useful in this, because we all kind of treat Wobbuffet as a joke, like we kind of laugh or just roll our eyes when we see it, but it's damn competent when they learn how to use it. And I would have liked if Jessie didn't have to win, but if Wobbuffet had gotten to show, like, maybe it learns something new for next time, or it just finds a different way of dealing with that. I don't know. I think it could have been a cool way of doing it.
Yeah, there's actually... So our next video is more than likely going to be the Pokemon Journeys thing, so there is something, I don't know where you're at, so I'm not going to spoil anything.
I just finished the second episode.
Okay, then you haven't seen the episode I'm thinking of yet, so...
Oh, God, no!
There's some interesting stuff, so...
Just to clarify, how many episodes have you seen?
I think I only have 2 more, so I think I've seen 10.
Holy crap! I thought we were going to take more time with this. I can catch up, though. Anyways, like I said though, it could have been a more interesting battle. This was just kind of boring.
Oh, okay. I think we're now on to honorable mentions, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. So my since one of my honorable mentions was Brock versus Ash, it was the part 2 one where everything goes Ash's way.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So we've already discussed that.
Yep.
So my honorable mention then is Ash versus Team Rocket for the 8th gym badge in Kanto.
Oh, okay. I was about to be like Ash versus Team Rocket. Which time?
No, specifically this one. I know that that they were setting up for the movie and all that. That's why they uh, don't have Giovanni in it because he's supposed to be trying to figure out what happened to Mewtwo and trying to keep it under control. I think at this point, but I really think that they should have had someone else. I would have liked Team Rocket to have been jealous that like Butch and Cassidy got picked to be the gym leader in while Giovanni's out. Something and uh, and it gives Team Rocket, of course, access to Giovanni's ground types, and
Yeah.
all I remember is that I think the gym explodes and Ash catches the gym badge, and that's it.
Yeah. It's yeah. It's not. It's I don't. Here's the thing. I don't remember this episode as well as everybody else does, but I do remember not particularly enjoying it.
Yeah, I know, and I remember because this starts out with Gary with his 10 gym badges that not even half of them match the gym badges of the Kanto region.
Nope.
So I think he just went to a pin shop and bought badges.
Yeah, well, it's like what you said the same thing with Drew. You said that he goes home and makes his own ribbon and cries while he's doing it. I think Gary kind of started that.
It's quite possible.
I was about to say, have those two not met up? They're the exact same character.
Except for Gary moved on and was like, okay, I don't want to be a trainer anymore. I'm going to become a Pokemon researcher like my grandfather.
Yeah, and Drew as well. Drew. Actually, I can't be too hard on Drew. I actually have something nice to say about him in this video, but we'll get to that.
But yeah, so I don't remember the battle overall that much, but I just remember thinking, oh, and I think it's because Team Rocket plants explosives in the things that that them and Ash are standing on for the battle.
Something like that. Anyways, so my next honorable mentions.
Go right ahead.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna. Oh, that's right. I switched that. May versus Brock. Do you remember this contest battle? Like Brock, like some girls, like, oh, Brock, you should enter the Pokemon contest, and of course, Brock, thinking with his Onyx, decides to enter the Pokemon contest. And he does surprisingly well, like a lot better than he should, considering he's never once done this before. And he gets to the finals versus May, and he kind of dominates a good majority of the battle. Like Marshtomp does a lot better than it should have. And May comes back and kind of wins. And let me put it to you this way. Hey, the time where Brock dominates and the time where May comes back is really, it's jarring, and it doesn't really fit well. It feels like May kind of just comes out of nowhere in the last 10 seconds, and they're like, oh, okay, hey, May wins. I don't know. It's not a very good battle, because I just feel like Brock did way too much in this battle. Like, him making it to the finals is one thing, but him doing that well against May was kind of jarring. I wasn't a fan of it.
I can understand that. Maybe if it was like early on, I don't really remember it, so I don't remember which time it takes place. But I'm thinking if it was taking place in her like second contest,
it was during Battle Frontier, so she had already competed in a grand festival.
Okay, so yeah, if it had been, so we have that first one where they can't enter because it's already full or registration's already closed, so May can't enter. Then we have the first one where she gets to enter and then she loses. If this was like the second one that she enters, then it would make more sense. Brock's, I'll give this a shot as well, and And
Yeah.
if at the end Brock goes, "Oh, this really isn't for me. I'm gonna."
Yeah, that's my thing. If this was in a much earlier episode, I would have been completely on board for it. But it didn't make sense. That's especially considering all that May had been through. Also, what would have happened if Brock had won that? Would he have kept the ribbon, or would he have given it to May? Because if he gave it to May, that would have been kind of bittersweet. Like, I did not earn this.
I could have seen this would have been a good episode for the girl who likes Brock back and has the Vulpix to have come back into
Oh,
this
okay.
episode and then bring Vulpix, and that's what Brock uses. And
That-
imagine like in the finals, it evolves into Ninetales. He gives it back, of course, but
Yeah. Well, then again, I will never pass up a chance seeing Marshtomp, which should have evolved, but well, I'll learn to live with that. Never. Anyways, my next honorable mention.
go right ahead.
Okay, May versus Soledad in the Grand Festival.
I don't remember Soledad, but that's
She, like, pinkish hair, orange, one of May's rivals.
not very common, if I remember
Oh,
correctly.
no, well, that was kind of the problem. It was introduced way too late, and whatever. Anyways, I've said before. I don't like Drew. I don't like Drew as a character. I don't like Drew at all. But he had a really good Grand Festival battle against May. It was emotional. It was action packed. It showed May using some different strategies that actually ended up working for her. And it was a good send off to their rivalry because May finally ending up beating Drew 1-on-1. It was good. But all of a sudden, immediately after that, May and Soledad have a battle. And we don't get to see this battle at the very beginning. We see this when Soledad's points are at maybe 80 something percent, while May's points are about 15%. You're telling me we couldn't have seen that? We couldn't have seen how good Soledad was from the very beginning? But no, I don't even remember a full battle she had. She just, I don't know. It felt like the Tobias situation. Like, we just have to introduce somebody to beat the character, to beat our hero, so they'll win. I don't know. It wasn't. I'm not a fan. I wasn't a fan of it, especially after we'd gotten such a great battle beforehand.
I can understand that. Yeah, that's one issue Pokemon really developed during kind of the middle seasons, where we're going to introduce an extra rival 5 minutes before the end. Like, I'll even admit Johto does it with what's his name? He's got the Blaziken. That's all I can remember.
Yeah. I was about to say I'll look it up really quick. But yes, you're right. You're right.
That kind of started it, where rather than have this person meet up Ash on an occasion and be a rival who wants to grow, and there's back and forth where Ash may lose big one time but then win big the next. They do a lot better job later on, with like Sawyer in X and Y.
I was about to say, heck, they do it better in Unova, and I never thought I'd say that. Like, at least we knew the characters beforehand.
Yeah, even if they're bland and shouldn't have been a rival, because Ash should have crushed them at every turn. But
Yeah, Harrison, that was his name. His name was Harrison.
yeah, so Harrison, and then they had I know there's a Sawyer, someone they introduced late, and
let's see, there was Harrison, there was Tobias, there was the dude with the Tyson. The Tyson had the Meowth, and I love the backstory with the Meowth and everything, and I like Tyson as a character, but they could have been, like I've said before, they could have introduced these characters much, much earlier.
Yeah, rather than give us a scene where, here's the backstory, it could have been, you could have seen, like, our trio or quadrilogy or whatever, however many people were there, could have been a part of it, helping that person, and then the Meowth goes with him, and now the Meowth's here, and so we could have seen it a lot more.
Yeah. Not to mention, well, here's the thing. By comparison to all those other battles, at least we see the full thing. Soledad for such an important battle where May loses yet another Grand Festival, don't you think we could have seen the full thing? We could have, but I don't know. They did make the ending scene afterwards very touching because she's crying and everybody's saying, "Hey, you did awesome," which she probably did, but it's not like we got to see it. So I don't know. I don't know. We should talk to May about that. We should get her thoughts on that.
All right. So ready
Those
for
are
our finals?
Wait. There's one more honor, and I'm going to be super quick
Oh.
about this one.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Ash versus AJ in the Indigo season. AJ's the guy with the sand shrew who had the whip and everything, and he had different ways of training his Pokemon.
Oh, okay. Okay, yes.
I can't. First of all, this is one of the worst episodes of Pokemon out there because I like the idea that different people have different ways of training their Pokemon, and I think at Misty, Brock, and especially Ash are really come off as conceited and horrible about the fact that it's like you're being cruel to your Pokemon, and this whole time Ash is getting stomped by all of these other Pokemon. It'd be one thing if Ash was winning these battles, and then AJ would be like, "Huh, maybe I am training them wrong," or maybe if his Pokemon were suffering. But no, AJ's Pokemon seem to love him. They seem to want to be stronger. So the whole battle just didn't make a lot of sense, and it made Ash not only look bad as a trainer, but especially as a character. It was just one of the worst episodes.
Yeah, I vaguely remember this one from, I think, my last rewatch of the classic series.
Yeah, I want to say it's within like the first 10 episodes or so.
Didn't even remember it was that early.
Maybe 20. I don't know.
But yeah, I from what I remember, yeah, they don't do a great job in that episode at all.
No, they do not. In fact, a lot of episodes from the first few series were just, I don't know. Anyways, we're done. I'm done with honorable mentions. I promised I'd be quick, and that's me being quick.
All right. So this one might be surprising to some people, but this one's just more of a personal, and this is
episode. It was the 8th episode. Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
Wow, I didn't realize it was that early.
Yep. Anyways, go ahead.
It's Ash versus Gideon at the end of the Pokemon League. My main issue with this episode, and it's because
I'm sorry, I'm blanking on who's Gideon. I'm blanking out on this character.
That's Lily's brother.
Oh, Gladion.
That's
I'm supposed to be like, who the hell are you talking? Okay, Gladion. Yes.
Gladion's,
okay.
My apologies. The fact that this is the finals in the tournament and it's still like a 3-on-3.
Yeah, that's upset. That's criminal. That's worse than anything Team Rocket has done. If we're being completely honest.
I mean, again, I think the main reason they made Ash win in Alola was because there was such outrage that he lost in Kalos. And this was not the way to fix it. If they had done that, I know that there's a 6-on-6 battle right after with him versus Kukui, but this is supposed to be the finals. And in my opinion, the semifinals and the finals should have at least been 6-on-6.
I agree.
Both rounds. And so it doesn't feel like a tournament. It's like, well, Ash is the only one with 6 Pokemon, so...
Furthermore, why does nobody else have 6 Pokemon? Not even for a league championship thing, but it's just like 3 or 4. It's the magic number here. It's like, once you catch any more than that, then you're just showing off. Is it just a cultural thing? What's up?
I don't know, but it was just like... Really? I mean, I really think we could have gotten a really good battle, 6-on-6 battle with Kiawe versus Gladion, and then Ash versus who does he face in the?
Isn't it Guzma?
Guzma, yeah. And they both have in-game teams. I think they all have in-game teams that are 6 Pokemon or something.
At some point, yes.
And it's just disappointing, and it's like, okay, so Ash wins this one because he had the most options to choose.
Yeah, not to mention they did that whole thing where we thought he lost, and then it turned out Rowlet was asleep, and just it was a mess.
Yeah, so I really think that this could have been a lot better. And again, my main issue is that it doesn't feel like the end of a championship where there should be this is everybody going all out. They bring their best teams and fight it out. And
man, it just feels like casual. Like, hey, everybody, do your best. And Team Skull's like the only team. It's like the only like Guzman's like the only person who's like actively trying. Like, no, we're playing it. We're playing for blood. Let's do this. And it's just like, no, no, 3 Pokemon. No, that'd be ignorant. No. But yeah, this I co-sign. I co-sign. It was just very disappointing for league finals, especially considering the ones the previous year were just. Well, we'll talk about that maybe next time or the time after that. It depends.
And it really, and as I said, because the winner gets the reward to face Kukui, it's not the same. That's not the end of the tournament. Ash has already won. So don't say, oh, but Ash hasn't won the championship. He's won the tournament with 3 Pokemon. Now he faces the best trainer. I really don't know.
Yeah, we'll have a lot to say about the Alola game when we get back to our Pokemon Journeys reviews. But I co-sign. Anyways, so my last one.
Go right ahead.
Okay, just a reminder that just a reminder. These lists, at least my list, I'm not going to speak for my co-host, aren't in any particular order. It's just kind of like, hey, these are kind of the worst ones. Every now and then I'll do it in order, but oh boy, look, I don't want to be too hard on Dawn because I really do like Dawn, but some of her contest battles were not very good, particularly hers against Jesselina, or was it? Like for those who remember in Diamond and Pearl, we talked about this once. Corey and Lyra decided to travel with the group for a good bit, and they end up watching one of Dawn's contest battles, and other than showing Zoe or Nando, Ursula, or Kenny, that's his name? Okay.
Yes, Kenny.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, they decide to go with Jesselina as the main rival, which I'm okay with because I like Jessie. I want to see more from her in terms of contests. But Jessie is sick, so James takes over and disguises himself as Jesselina. First of all, the fact that he pulls off that outfit is kind of terrifying. He looks good in anything, seriously.
Well, I mean, there's a whole band episode with him having fake breasts. So.
Let's not go down that rabbit hole. Let's not talk about that. Anyways, so one of the things that you'd think that that James, as a trainer or as a coordinator, however you want to call it, would be bad at like, doing this, but no. Since Jesse's sick, he takes over, and he's actually really good as a coordinator, like shockingly good. Which I said before, I wasn't a huge fan of when they did it with Brock, but I thought to myself, maybe this time it'll be different. It was, but not by much. Once again, James makes it to the finals and faces Dawn and her Mamoswine. Now, Dawn's Mamoswine kind of had some behavioral things, like it would kind of loaf around and only do stuff for food and things like that. But it seemed like a couple of episodes beforehand, like she was finally beginning to understand it. All for it to get confused and angry and basically lose control during the battle and lose to James in the contest final. The pacing leading up to this battle wasn't very good. The fact that James did that well and won wasn't all that good. Not to mention, we talked about the fact that it's like, oh, hey, guess what? If Brock had won, he could have given her the ribbon or something like that. And that literally ends up happening. James wins and gives the ribbon to Jessie. Which is sweet, but did she really earn it? But they're villains, so who cares?
No, I mean, there's a whole arcs where they're trying to steal the gym badges from someone just so that they can force, I think, James into the Pokemon League so he can win and steal Pokemon.
He's the best trainer, so I feel, first of all, I feel like he'd win. Second of all, I feel like at some point you'd have to contact the gym leaders and be like, I've never seen this dude before in my life. We've never faced off. No. Like, it shouldn't just be as simple as here's a badge. Take a picture, put a picture up on the wall or something, or do like they do in the games and like write and like have your name on the statue thingy, like certified trainers. Which I still think is weird. It's only you and your rival. Like, does nobody else beat this gym?
Well, they do mention early on you're registered like your Pokedex is your Pokemon license, and it registers all your badges and stuff in there. So technically, you could like based on how they kind of worded it at the beginning of one of the series, you could lose all the badges themselves, but because you registered them in your Pokedex and they're registered to you, you could still enter because they're registered.
Or it's one of those things where you have to like save it like you save a video game, and the whole time Ash hasn't saved since he first started. So if he loses his Pokedex or any of his badges, he is screwed.
Yeah,
but yeah, Dawn does not look good in this battle. James looks way too good, and they even kind of address that at the end. Like Jessie, she hugs Meowth and James like, "Hey, thank you guys for doing this for me. I'll never forget this." But at the same time, she also gets mad because she's like, I'm annoyed that you guys got cheered as me more than I've ever gotten cheered. I'm like, yeah, I'd be a little upset about that too. Could you imagine if like you weren't able to do the podcast or I wasn't able to do it? We got someone else and they got way better reviews than us. That I would be very self-conscious about that.
Yeah, it would be weird.
Yeah, but it's just not like I feel like they could have held off on the Mamoswine getting better with Dawn thing if they were just going to like basically negate it in this episode. I don't. Here's the thing: I like the idea of James taking over, but just him doing that well was kind of bothersome, and I have to be consistent with what I said earlier. So, is it the worst battle ever? No. Is it? I don't know. Contest battles are very weird for me to judge because they're so different.
Yeah, it would have been probably more hilarious had Jesse's sick, James loses in the first round, and because he tries to pull off a move that Jesse's been trying to perfect for like months, and whatever happens, it causes an explosion and sends him flying out of the ring.
Yes, and as they're looking, somebody just holds up a sign that just says 10. That's just like, I liked it. It was different. It was different. Also, one last thing about contest battles. You remember the judges, right? The head of the fan club, Nurse Joy, and that
Mr. Fantastic or whatever.
Mr. Content. Like my point being, I hate the dude who always says remarkable. He needs to fall.
Remarkable.
I hate him and if him and Gligar Man ever team up, I'm going to jail. I'm going to jail.
Thinking back on it, Gligar Man would have made a good contestant because.
Well, I tried to ignore those episodes mostly, so you're right. But go ahead.
No, but that's about it. Well, what are your guys' thoughts?
Do you disagree with any of these battles? Do you agree with them? What other battles did we overlook? Because there's a lot of them. There's a lot of great battles, but there's also a lot of battles that just make us sad.
Mm-hmm. I mean, do you like it more when Ash wins competently? Do you like it more when he wins on pure luck, like he does a lot?
Or do you like it better when he loses, like me?
Hoping that it'll be the final time and that we get someone new.
Yeah. I was about to say there are a lot more battles that I were thinking about, but we want to keep this video not that long. And don't worry. We're definitely doing a list of the best battles, which should be a lot more fun to talk about. Not as much fun to listen to though, because apparently people like when we talk about the worst stuff more than the best. Which, because I guess our fans just hate us, which I don't blame you, but still.
They like to see us annoyed.
Yeah. I swear, if we ever get big and go to anime conventions and someone dresses as Gligar Man, you're going to have to do this podcast without me from now on. But anyways, just let us know. This has been Foster.
And Williamson.
And you've been listening to the Anime Egotist. And with the Anime Egotist, if you disagree, you're wrong.